Hey guys, it's John here from Sonic Drive Studio. Thanks again so much for tuning into this channel. Welcome to the second episode of the Reamp show. If you haven't seen the first episode, you can view it on this channel, of course. And it's all about reamping DI tracks that you guys sent to me. And then I'm going to put them in my DAW and just try to make some cool sounds with the various plugins. Today we're going to take a look at some tracks that I got from Séb Le-Tigre. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he sent me some tracks along with some drums and bass. And let's just go ahead and dive right in. So let's take a listen to the tracks that he sent me. Yeah, it's a cool riff. I like how the drums sound. Sound cool, sound well produced. And the bass sounds cool as well. Just as in the last video, I did add some compression to kind of even out the dynamics of the bass. And for that, I'm using the FG Stress compressor by Slate Digital. I'm not going to do much processing on the drums and bass other than the compression on the bass because I'm going to focus on the guitar sounds for these videos. However, you know, sometimes tracks require a little glue to make everything sound cohesive, so I might add like a bus compressor on the whole mix at the end or something. The guitars themselves sound good, but they could have been played a little bit more tight, but that's okay. Yeah, let's take a listen to the guitars just soloed. One thing that I'm also noticing is that the DIs are quite loud. It's not really an issue, but maybe next time try to record them at a bit of a lower level just to make sure that the DIs don't clip. Let's see what we can do to make these sound awesome. Of course, this is a metal track, so let's try something Mesa Boogie-ish to get a great crunchy rhythm tone. I'm just going to start off with one guitar and make all the settings on one guitar and then copy them to the next. Just going to turn on the loop here, and then we're going to open up Helix Native by Line 6. I'm going to stick with that platform for now, but I would like to use other platforms in the future as well, just to keep this series a bit interesting. But Helix Native is awesome, so why not use that for now? Let's go to the input gate here, turn it on, and turn the threshold down and the decay all the way down as well. And then open up an amp block. And for this riff, let's go with the Cali 4 lead amp, which is based on a Mesa Boogie Mark IV. And it's great for tight, crunchy metal tones. When you think about Metallica, when you think about Dream Theater, when you think about Lamb of God, you basically think about this amp. So that's going to work just fine, I imagine. And of course, we're going to add an IR loader. And again, I'm going to use Nadir by Ignite Amps for easy browsing. And we're just going to load up some Ownhammer impulses of a Mesa Boogie cabinet. And let's just go for the 412 Recto, which is based on a 4x12 Mesa Boogie Recto cabinet. And there are a bunch of speaker options in here, as you can see. Both the V60 and the V70 speakers are based on V30 speakers by Celestion. If you like the Mesa Boogie sound, you're going to like those speakers, definitely. I like the V70B speaker option a lot. So I'm going to start off with that one. Just click on the Quick Start folder and go to the Ownhammer 105 file from that folder. And let's just start tweaking the amp. Let's see what happens. Okay, so right from the start, it sounds pretty muddy. So there are a couple of things that we need to do in order to get the mud out of there. One of the things is turn down the bass all the way. So that clears out a lot of the mud in the distortion. So keep that in mind when you're tweaking this amp. Also, one of the things that I like to do straight away is turn down the master volume. Check out what happens when we do that. This also helps to make the sound less muddy and more kind of bright and a bit more scooped as well. So we're going to just set that halfway at 5. And then I'm going to tweak the lead gain and lead drive settings a bit. Okay, then we're going to turn down the mids just a bit and turn up the treble. The dynamics in the DI track are kind of uneven at times. Sometimes the guitarist plays louder than at other parts, so we're going to need a little bit more drive and gain to kind of compensate for the unevenness in the level. Then let's go to the graphical equalizer here. We're going to turn the low frequencies up to about 1 dB, turn down the low mid frequencies to about minus 2.5 dBs, turn down the mid frequencies here to about minus 5.3, and the upper mids down to minus 2.4. We're going to set the upper treble frequencies to about plus 1 dB just for now. And let's take a listen. Much better already. It's really coming to life. Yeah, I like the brightness. I like the cut. The low end is still a little bit muddy. I'm kind of missing some of the attack and the string definition. So a little trick that I like to do often, as you've probably seen in other videos, is just add a simple EQ block in front of the amp. And I'm probably going to lower the low frequencies a little bit, boost some mid frequencies, and also some high frequencies. And let's just see what that can do for our tone here. So as you can see, when I turn down the low gain control here, you can really hear the tightness of the low end notes kind of increasing. So if you want a tighter sound, just turn down this control a little bit here. So that's already making a difference. Okay, then we're going to set the mid frequency to about 1.5K. And I'm going to increase the mid gain also a little bit here. I also increased the high gain a little bit. I think it has more cut and more aggressiveness now. Let's A/B again. So the tone is much clearer, more defined, and more aggressive with the equalizer on. So even though the moves are kind of subtle, I mean 3 dBs isn't like a huge EQ boost or cut, the changes that I'm making to the guitar tone are pretty huge. So this can be a very powerful tool when you're shaping the tone of your guitar. All right, I'm very satisfied right now. All right, let's go ahead and add a reverb block. I got a comment from a guy who he wanted me to use the reverbs in Helix Native itself, so I'm just going to do that with this video. I'm going to use the room algorithm, and I'm mostly going to just turn down the default mix settings a little bit, and probably turn down the decay as well. That's just adding some air and liveliness to the guitar tone. Very subtle, but very nice. I think it sounds great. The IR that I'm using also sounds great. I love how it sounds. I use this one a lot for, you know, your typical Mesa Boogie V30 sound. But just as with the previous video, let's go ahead and have some fun and go over to the beta folder with the 412 Fman files from Ownhammer, which are coming out very soon. We're going to go for the V93 EMC files here. And the V93 is basically a Mesa Boogie V30 Celestion. So it has that Mesa Boogie sort of roundness and mid-range warmth going on, which I really love. We're going to go over to the Quick Start folder and go to the Mixes portion. And then, as usual, just click on the Ownhammer 105 mix from that folder. And let's take a listen. Yeah, it sounds great. I think that the top end is a bit more rounded off, and the mid-range is a cool kind of three-dimensional quality to it. So we're going to use this one because I prefer it over the other one. And I'm going to go ahead and tweak the amp block just a little bit based on the new IR. Sounds pretty awesome. Now let's close Helix Native and turn this one all the way to the left. And then I'm going to copy the Helix Native settings and the Nadir settings and paste them on the other channel. All right, so the settings have been copied to the right channel as well. Let's take a listen to both guitars playing at the same time. Sounds killer. I mean, the mids are very nice, like I said, kind of warm, but still, they still work for aggressive music very well. And it has this kind of 3D quality to it that I really like and that I think Ownhammer does very well. Now let's make a group channel. To which I'll route both the guitar tracks so I can process them together. And I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to add the virtual mix rack for now and use the FGS equalizer here and take out some low frequencies. Like I said in the beginning, the guitars have a lot of low end and it's kind of rumbling underneath, and all of that room is for the bass guitar and the kick drum basically. So we're just taking some of that out under about 90 hertz. I'm also going to add some subtle saturation here with the virtual channel from the Virtual Console collection, also by Slate. don't know if you can hear it very well, but if you're listening on proper speakers or proper headphones, you should be able to hear a difference. And the main thing that I'm hearing is that the guitars come a bit more forward when the virtual channel is enabled. So it's just a subtle effect. That's great. Let's check the guitars in the mix. I think that the guitar tones are pretty nice, actually. Now, if this were a real mix, I would focus a lot more on the drums and getting the bass and the balance between those just right. But like I said, this is just focusing on the guitar tones. But for fun, we can add a bit of bus compression on the master fader here, just to see if we can make the entire mix, so to speak, sound a bit more cohesive and a bit less dynamic, because it's jumping a bit all over the place. Yeah, I like to use the Slate virtual bus compressors, and I'm using the rack version now with all 3 compressors enabled. And for the bottom one, I always like to turn down the mix control because this adds a lot of color. It adds upper mid frequencies mainly when it's not compressing, that is. And let's go ahead and for the red compressor use the CLA Rock Drive preset, and the upper compressor, the FG Gray, I'm just gonna leave that on for coloring, but I'm not going to use that for compression right now. Let's see what happens. It just adds a little bit of cohesiveness and glue to the entire mix. Yeah, overall, I think it sounds pretty nice, actually. It lacks a little bit of weight overall, but I think that's due to the kick drum just being a little bit tiny. So the kick drum could use a bit more of that sort of subby weight. But other than that, it's pretty awesome. Let me know what you think in the comments. The ingredients are pretty simple. We're just using Line 6 Helix Native for the guitar tones with the Cali 4 amp model, and IRs from the Ownhammer 412 Fman 6-pack, which is coming out very, very soon, I promise. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, and please hit subscribe along with the bell next to it. And follow Sonic Drive Studio on facebook.com/Sonic Drive Studio to stay up to date on all our videos and activities. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!